Hey guys, well, one of the big questions that we get, especially at the very start of the process, maybe the first conversation that we have with a new client is, I'm getting a construction loan. I need a construction loan to build the house. So what does that look like? What is that process? How do I start? How does it go? If you've never done it before, it can seem rather daunting. It's not. It's actually very simple. It has been, we've done them so long. It's part of the industry, so it's a pretty well-oiled machine. But it helps if you have someone that can guide you through that. So for us, as a custom builder, I will recommend to you different banks to go to talk to them about interim construction loans. We don't do it. We don't finance. I'm not a production builder. I don't have a finance wing. We just don't do that. The banks do that way better than I ever could. So we're going to give you plenty of people to go talk to. I'll never give you just one or two. I'll give you at least 3 or 4 names to go talk to, because we don't have any deals with any banks, nothing like that. I don't want you to feel like we're trying to push you one way or another to one particular bank or another. However, I do suggest very strongly that you go with a local bank, not a big national bank, for your interim construction loan when you're building the house, because most big banks won't do interim construction loans anyway. If you call Chase Bank, you call Wells Fargo, and they're going to say no before you get the words interim construction loan out. They just don't do them. They're too short term. They can't make any money on them. They don't care about them. Local banks do. Local banks look at them as an opportunity to develop a relationship with a new client. So they enjoy doing them. They do them for us on speculative houses and things like that. They're very good at it. They're the ones to go to. So what is an interim construction loan? An interim construction loan is the note that you will use to pay for the home as you're building it, unless you have cash, or unless you have a lot of equity from a house that you just sold sitting in the bank and you're going to pay for it that way. Most folks pay for it with an interim construction loan, and that is again from a local bank, and that is a loan that you only owe on it the amount that has been spent at the time. So let's use round numbers because they're easier for me. So let's say that we've got a lot that you want to build a house on, and it's a $100,000 lot, and it's going to be a $700,000 house. So your total contract price would be $800,000. You would get an interim construction loan for $800,000 or whatever you agreed to with the bank. Sometimes the bank will want money down, sometimes they don't. It just depends. Again, I'm horrible at math, so I'm going to keep the math simple. And let's say you get an $800,000 loan for your $800,000 job, interim construction loan. The first draw on your loan when we signed contracts was $100,000 to pay off the lot. So then the lot transfers from me to you. If you don't have a lot, then that doesn't happen. That's not the first draw. But if it's my lot and you're buying it for us to build your house on, we're going to transfer it to you on that first draw. So at that point, you do not have an $800,000 loan. You have a $100,000 loan. Remember, you're only going to pay interest on what has been drawn, not the total. So you're not on the hook for the whole thing until the last 5 or 6 days when we make our final draw before closing. So that's very helpful, because an interim construction loan, because it's typically 1 year, 18 months, or 2 years at the max, because it's a short-term loan, you're not going to get your typical mortgage rate. It's usually going to be whatever the rate is plus 2 points. So if it's a 6% rate, you're going to have an 8% interim construction loan. And again, that's okay because you're only paying on what has been drawn. Also, interim construction notes are typically paid interest only, so you're only going to pay the interest on what's been drawn, not an interest in principal. So it's not, it typically is not a large outlay of cash on your part. For us, because you are carrying an interim construction loan and the lot's being put into your name, that's why we don't take a huge deposit, because the lot is in your name. Our deposit's going to be around 5% of the total, and that's all because it's on land that is in your name now, and you're carrying the interim construction. You're paying the cost for that. So we're not going to ask you for a ton of money down on the front end. It's a simple process. We can walk you through it. It is not scary. It's not daunting. Just make sure you got a good builder like us that's going to help you. It's going to walk you through it and make sure you're familiar with every step of the way.